Oh, hey, you came back. 날 보고 싶었지? Oh, yeah. Of course, here you go. But wait, 온 김에, why don't we go over some verb conjugations, okay? Specifically, I want to teach you how to conjugate the yo form that you see everywhere in Korean. Okay, this is the most important verb form ever. 그럼 시작할까?
Here are the basic rules for conjugation. Step 1. Remove the da. Step 2. Check the last vowel. If it's o or a, then add a. If it's anything else, then add o. Step 3. Add yo when speaking politely. You don't need to add yo with close friends who are the same age as you or younger, small children, and animals. For all other situations, add the yo.
Sounds easy, right?
Yay!
Well, it may sound easy, but there are a lot of exceptions.
But before we go to those exceptions, let's review what we know so far. Let's take the verb 먹다. First, remove the da. The last vowel there is all, so we add all to conjugate it. Then we can add yo because we're meeting a new friend our age for the first time and don't know them well enough yet. Here's another one, 좋다. Remove the da and we're left with this. The last vowel is o, which means that we have to add an a to conjugate it. This time we won't add a yo because we're speaking to someone much younger than us.
Okay, now we'll go over the exceptions, and there are a few of them. 걱정하지 마, 내가 도와줄게.
One exception to the rule is that anytime the last syllable in a verb doesn't have any consonants on the bottom of it, the a or all ending can combine into the verb instead of attaching to it. I'll show you what I mean. 가다, by the rules, would conjugate as 가아, right? Right, but because 가아 sounds repetitive, the a drops away and we're just left with ka. You can add a yo to this and it becomes 가요. Simple enough. 오다, under the same rules, would conjugate as 오아. But since o doesn't have any consonants on the bottom of it, the a will combine with it, becoming wa. Here's one more example of this. 주다 ends with a u, and it gets the all ending, becoming 주어. Now, 주어 is perfectly correct, but more often because the syllable 주 ends with a vowel, the all will attach to the 주 to become this. When the verb ends with shi, such as 마시다, drop the da and look at the vowel in the last syllable, which is e. Since it's not o or a, you add all, making it 마시어. But remember what I said when the last syllables of the verb end with a vowel? They can combine together. The all combines into the shi, becoming 셔. The full verb would therefore be 마셔. You'll see this kind of thing happening in a lot of verbs. 가르치다 becomes 가르치어, which combines to become 가르쳐.
그렇게 어렵지 않지?
Yay.
Okay, now let's learn some more exceptions. Would you just pick one already?
When you get a verb that ends with the vowel, you have to move back one more space and look at the syllable before that in order to conjugate it. A bit confusing? Let me show you what I mean. When conjugating 바쁘다, we'll be left with 바쁘. Since the last vowel is we have to look at the previous syllable before that in order to conjugate this verb. Since that ends with an a, we know we'll be adding an a onto this. Remove the now add the a, and we get 바빠. Adding a yo makes this 바빠요. For this word, remove the since the second to last syllable is 예, which isn't o or a, it means we're going to be adding a 어. So we get 예뻐 or 예뻐요. For verbs with only two syllables but an conjugation's simple. In this case, there's nothing to look at before, so we only need to look at the itself. Is it an o or an a? It's not, so we add an 어. Now remove the like usual and add an 어. Whenever the is accompanied by a lil, the rules change a little bit. First remove the and when you see a lil by itself, the lil makes a copy of itself, and that copy moves to the bottom of the previous syllable. Then, since this ends in the o, we add an a. Put it together and we have 몰라 or 몰라요. This all sounds complicated, but you'll see verbs that end with this commonly, and conjugating them is really simple with just a little bit of practice.
맛있다. Let's continue.
Okay, this is the last rule, I promise. Whenever the last syllable is a 비읍, you have some extra work to do. Only if it's an adjective and not an action verb. 부럽다 is an adjective since it's describing something. First, remove the 비읍. Now add a u to the end. Finally, conjugate this normally. So since u isn't o or a, we add 어. Remember about combining vowel sounds? This therefore becomes 부러워. Or 부러워요, depending on who we're talking to. If the last consonant is a 비읍, but it's an action verb such as 쉽다, then you have nothing to worry about, just conjugate it normally. There are some irregular verbs that don't follow these rules, and although there are a lot, I do want to go over a couple ones before we finish. One of the most common verbs, 하다, has a special way to be conjugated. After we remove the da, we're left with ha, which should take on an a ending by the rules, but it doesn't. It becomes he. Then you can just add the yo to that. You'll also see he written as hayo in older Korean writing. Don't use this yourself when speaking, but just know that he and hayo are the same thing. Another one of the most common verbs, ida, also has a special way to be conjugated. Ida becomes ieo after a consonant, or yeo after a vowel. vowel. In casual speech, this would be ya after a consonant and ya after a vowel. Anida, however, only becomes 아니에요, regardless of whether it comes after a consonant or a vowel. In casual speech, this becomes 아니야, also regardless of whether it comes after a consonant or a vowel. That was so much more explanation than I expected, but it makes sense, right? Right? 만약에 이해가 안 된 부분이 있으면 watch this video again and try making your own example sentences. I should let you know that there are some irregular verbs in Korean that don't follow these rules, but don't stress about that. Most of them aren't common, and the common ones you'll learn quickly anyway. 잘할 거야. Anyway, 다음에 또 봐요.